Before last summer, I had never in my life tasted shrimp bisque, and after having to make it at my internship at Castello di Rescio, I was immediately hooked on it. It's rich, creamy, full of flavor, and so easy to make. Today, I will show you my version of shrimp bisque and how to plate it and transform it into a fine dining dish. Enough said, let's start cooking. First thing first, we have to clean the shrimp properly. We're gonna use every single part of the shrimp, so don't worry. First, we need to remove the meat from the shell and keep the shell aside. Make sure to be gentle because we don't want to lose any meat. Now with our shrimp shellless, we will devein them because we don't want to eat their poop. Just get a small paring knife and make a small incision, not very deep so they don't curl up too much when cooking, and slowly pull out the vein. If it's still a bit dirty inside, don't worry, just clean the shrimp under some cold running water, then pat it dry with some paper towels. After we clean the meat, we can start with the shells. The only thing we need to do is to remove the eyes with some kitchen scissors, mostly because they have a bad bitter taste when cooked. But we want to keep the head because that's where all the flavor is and where we'll get our color from. As a garnish for the bisque, we're gonna coat the shrimp in panko and then fry it in butter. The best way to coat them is to use egg whites and make sure to buy some quality Japanese panko for a nice crispiness. If you have the time, you can also make some homemade ghee to fry the shrimp for a better taste. For the moment, we are gonna set aside the coated shrimp and start with the bisque. I like being extra, so I cut all of the veggies small brunoise, but you don't need to do it. I just wanted to practice a bit and flex in front of all of you. But we're gonna blend everything, so it's not necessary. Just make sure all the veggies are cut the same size so they cook at the same time. The essential veggies, at least in my opinion for a good bisque, are some nice and plump tomatoes, some celery, which is amazing for any kind of seafood or fish, and carrots for some sweetness and color. And last but not least, some shallots because they were in season and I preferred their taste more than normal white onions. Coming to the stove now, we'll heat some olive oil, add a bit of butter for some nice taste, and also food science side note, did you know that by mixing butter with oil you increase the smoke point of butter and it doesn't caramelize or burn so fast. Next we're gonna add 3 cloves of garlic, put the heat to medium, and add the shrimp shells. We're gonna cook them until they change color a bit and we can smell the shrimp and the garlic flavor. Then we can add the rest of the veggies and continue to saute on medium heat until most of the liquid is gone. Then we can deglaze with some quality white wine like Sauvignon Blanc or Pinot Grigio. We'll continue stirring until there are no more alcohol vapors coming out. Then we'll add 500 ml of water and simmer on low to medium heat until it is reduced a bit and thicker in consistency. We'll take it off the fire and immediately blend it with a hand blender or even a food processor if you have one. Then strain it through a very fine sieve so the result is smooth and no one will break their teeth on the shell. Now we can season to taste with salt and pepper or any other spices you want. We can store this soup for up to 3 days in the fridge. Now to cook the shrimp, we're just gonna melt some butter and fry them until they are golden brown on the outside. We'll season them on the plate with some normal salt or even better flaky salt. For the plating, I wanted to keep it simple but elegant, so I just put the soup on a shallow but not too deep plate and placed 3 shrimps in the middle with some celery leaves. Unfortunately, I forgot to film my reaction to eating the soup, but as you can imagine, it was amazing and I hope all of you will try to make it at least once. That's it for today. Until next time, keep spreading those kitchen smiles and happy cooking.